Rich people versus poor people. That seems to be the argument. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's another argument where we've compressed an issue onto a line. When you see the line, and you start to understand why this discussion just usually hardens people's views. I'm not talking about the small disagreements. This argument has probably been debated longer than we would like to admit. There's a pattern underneath those arguments, and most people don't stop to examine it. Not because they can't see it, because the argument itself won't let them. It's structured to keep you inside it. That structure has a name. It's a duality. Two sides, one line, and the moment you step onto it, the argument takes over. It tells you where to stand, what to defend, who the problem is. And this can feel like thinking. It isn't. It's sorting. And what's the reason these arguments generate so much heat? The line was never capable of carrying what got put on it. Complexity gets compressed, nuance gets flattened, and people end up fighting over positions that were never accurate to begin with total conviction, because the line makes certainty feel like integrity. So the real question isn't who's right, it's what the line is doing, and whether you have to stand on it at all. Take wealth, the most familiar version of this. Most people assume the argument is about rich people and poor people. It isn't. It's about a line, because the line doesn't just frame the argument, it controls it. Every person gets forced onto it. Every story, every outcome, sorted to one side or the other. Rich or poor, privileged or struggling, exploiting or being exploited. And once you're on the line, your options collapse. Defend your side, attack the other one. That's it, which is why these conversations are so predictable. They don't move, they rotate. Different people, same positions, same emotional charge, same result. But here's the question almost nobody asks. What is that line actually doing? Because it looks like it's organizing reality, making sense of something complicated. That's not what it's doing. It's compressing it. Look at the word rich. Sounds like a clean category. It isn't. There is a real difference between someone who inherited wealth and someone who built it. That difference changes everything. Risk, failure, perspective. Someone who inherits is managing something that already exists. Someone who builds is navigating towards something that doesn't. Same word, different structure entirely. Now look at the other side. Poor, same problem. One word covering completely different realities. People born into constraint, before choice, before strategy, before awareness. And people who arrive there differently. Patterns, decisions, breakdowns, risk that didn't return. Same label, different pathways. So what you actually have is not two groups. You have multiple structures, different origins, different forces, different trajectories. All of it collapsed into two words. And the line cannot carry that. So it flattens it, and once everything is flattened, the conversation stops being structural. It becomes moral. Who deserves what? Who's to blame? Who's right? Those questions feel serious. They're generated by the line, not by reality. Most people feel this breakdown and try to fix it with more. More data, more statistics, better arguments. But they're still standing in the same place. So all that happens is the line gets louder, not clearer. The move isn't more information. The move is position. The moment you step off the line, and not to a better position on it, but off it entirely, something changes. Now you can see what the line was hiding. Now the question changes. It's no longer who's right. It becomes what produces these outcomes. And that question opens everything. Now you see inheritance as a force, opportunity as a variable, behavior as a factor, environment as a constraint. You stop seeing static labels. You start seeing movement, people moving through a system under completely different pressures, arriving at similar labels for completely different reasons. And when that shift happens, something else happens with it. The emotional charge drops, not because it doesn't matter, it does, but because you're no longer compressing everything into a single judgment. You're holding multiple realities at once, and that requires a different part of you. Not the part that defends, not the part that attacks, the part that can actually see. This is what most people miss. They think the goal is to land on the right opinion. The correct take, the strongest position. That's still the line. The real shift is realizing you don't have to stand on it at all. Because once you step off it, you're not trapped between rich and poor anymore. You're looking at a system, pathways, the forces, movement, and from there you can actually think. Not react, not perform certainty, not reduce everything to a slogan. You can see it, and once you can see it, you're not having the same argument anymore. You didn't switch sides. You changed position, and that is the difference between living inside a duality and finally seeing the structure that created it. So, are some questions that get presented as a duality being used as a way to keep us divided, or are we just more comfortable choosing a side?